Okay, good morning, students. Today's topic is pattern multiplication. But what we learned from that third unit, but so far we have discussed so many topics. But today's concept is pattern multiplication. In yesterday's class, what you learned, is uniform element array. Okay, and before day yesterday, what we learned, what we discussed. Okay, third unit is started with antenna arrays. What is the purpose of antenna arrays? Array is always the group of antennas, group of antenna elements. Okay, those are used to improve the gain and directivity. Okay, how those antenna elements are connected. Okay, how those antenna elements are connected. Okay? The arrays are classified as a four types. Okay, how they are connected. Okay, if the antenna element axis is perpendicular to array axis, then it is said to be broadside array. If the array axis and if the radiation pattern direction is perpendicular to the axis of array main axis, not antenna element axis, that is the broadside. If the radiation pattern is non-perpendicular or along the main axis, then it's said to be end fire. Okay. If the antenna element axis is along the major axis of array, then it is said to be collinear. Okay, collinear. That combination is called collinear array. And fourth one is unidentical antenna elements connected together as a array. Then it is said to be parasitic array. Okay, the four types of arrays are discussed clearly. Later we go for two element array. What is the radiation field strength of two element array? Okay, and its array factor. That array factor is also defined. Okay, uh, okay, how do you started that expression for electric field strength of a two element array? Simply we're considering 2-point sources A0 and A1. These two antenna elements are spaced apart a small d distance between them as, and P is the point of observation. Okay, the two antenna elements always maintains a separation between uh, okay, their location and at the point of observation as a small d only again. Okay, but its inclination angle is the cos phi. That's why okay, uh, from the point of observation P, that separation is always with some inclination angle as d cos phi. Okay, later we find out phase difference due to path difference. Okay, don't follow whatever they mentioned in that material. Simply, the total phase difference is always beta into path difference. Just remember that relation. Phase difference, total phase difference is always beta into the path difference. What is meant by beta there? Wave number. Okay, when we consider the free space, we always consider the wave number. That's why total path difference equal to beta into total phase difference equal to beta into path difference. What is the path difference between the 2-point sources in the point of observation P? D cos phi. That's why the total phase difference due to the path difference equal to beta into D cos phi. Okay, the total phase difference is denoted with psi symbol. That's why psi equal to beta D cos phi. That is very important point. Okay, okay, psi equal to beta D cos phi. Okay, if there occurs any additional phase differences, then that beta D cos phi plus some additional component called alpha is considered. Okay, otherwise that alpha is treated as a 0. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, that is the 2-point sources, with identical directional characteristics and identical current distribution, and identical excitation. Okay, that is the case 1. And case 2, okay, under case 2, and it's just like our two variable Boolean expression like 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Okay, identical point sources and identical excitation. Okay, second case, identical point sources, unidentical excitation. Okay, current magnitudes or excitation magnitudes are different, as considering instead of E naught, we consider a minus E naught. Okay, and the third case, unidentical point sources and identical excitation. And fourth case is uh, vice versa, just like unidentical and unidentical excitations. Okay, and what we learned from that expression, okay, 2e naught, and what is the final expression we got from the two element array? For the two element array, for the identical point sources and excitations, we got total field strength Et equal to 2e naught into cos of beta d cos phi by, okay, cos of beta d cos phi. See here, this is the unidentical. Okay, when we dealt with identical, we got the expression. See here, beta d cos phi by 2. Okay, where psi is replaced with beta d cos phi. Okay, similarly, this is the expression for unidentical. Okay, what is the difference between that identical and here unidentical? Where uh, the signal amplitude is 2e naught in both cases, but the difference is, okay, for identical cases we consider cos beta d cos phi by 2, whereas for unidentical here, okay, this is considered as an imaginary term j and same amplitude, but instead of cos theta cos, here they consider sine. Why? Because of the unidentical excitation. Okay, there exists what is the difference between that cos and sine here? Okay, there is a relative phase shift 90 degrees, that's why it becomes cos becomes sine here. That is the difference. Okay, 2e naught sine psi by 2. Okay, and what are the parameters we furtherly derived from this expression? That is the total electric field strength. uh, from that electric field strength we define array factor. That is also very important, array factor. Okay, that is also frequent asked question in the final examination. Array factor, how do you define the array factor? Array factor is always defined array factor is always defined what is the resultant field strength we obtained here? Okay, Et by its maximum amplitude. Its maximum amplitude is again 2e naught. Okay, when we cancel 2e naught on both numerator and denominator, just we got sine psi by 2 here for identical. Okay, or identical, both are same. Okay, where cos phi by 2. Okay, the cos of psi is replaced with cos phi by 2 cos theta kada. Okay, see here, this is the array factor, cos of beta d cos phi by 2. Okay, so from this expression, okay, we define radiational characteristics of maximum and minima and half power points. Okay, and from this expression only we are able to draw that radiational characteristics of any antenna. Okay, that is the only possible way. Okay, why? Because why I am repeating this concept again, this is the mathematical modeling of obtaining radiational characteristics of antenna, but today's topic, the pattern multiplication method, okay, is just like this. Okay, this method, but here is, this is the mathematical method and that is the graphical method. That is the key difference between the pattern multiplication and this mathematical modeling. Understand? That's why I am explaining each and every point earlier we discussed. You see here, maximum direction, cos of beta d cos phi by 2. Okay, what is the maximum and minimum value of cos theta? maximum value is +1 and minimum value is -1. Okay, and or simply maximum value is considered as a +1. Okay, just for that expression cos of beta d cos phi by 2 is equal to +or -1, then find the values of phi for case 1, and case 2 cos of beta d cos phi by 2 is equal to with 0, then find the values of phi. Similarly, to find half power points, simply equate the cos of beta d cos phi by 2 with +or -1 by root 2. Okay, already you know, okay, 45 degrees and 60 degrees. For that, I found out all these expressions, and how to plot is also you know. Okay, and how to I draw. Okay, already explain clearly with how to draw the radiational characteristics. Similarly, 2 point sources with current equal magnitude but opposite in phase. Okay, no need of all these derivations. First of all, just the basic definition is enough. Okay, and when it is phase angle is reversed, just replace that final expression with cos with sin and sin with cos. That's all. That's enough. Okay. Similarly, radiational characteristics are also changed. Why? Because what you observe from the traditional characteristics of that equal phase and unequal phase. Okay, an equal phase we contains cos, whereas in unequal phase we derived the final expression with sign. Okay, that is what is the phase difference here, 90 degrees. That's why that waveform just rotated 90 degrees like this. That is the difference. Okay, and if we use that common sense, then we are directly find out the radiational characteristics of the antenna from the only one derivation. Okay, and next after the 2 point sources, we consider n point sources. Okay, when we consider the 2 point sources, what is the resultant radiational characteristics and array factor is obtained. Similarly, in yesterday's class, we discussed about uniform n element linear array. Okay, remember one thing here, all these antenna elements are linear, uniform, and equivalent directional characteristics. Okay, and equally spaced. You see here a naught to a of n minus 1. Okay, uniform linear array. Okay. And what is the resultant field strength obtained at point P for this n element uniform array? Just like the previous derivation. Okay, what is the radiation pattern? What is the resultant field strength of a naught alone? Okay, resultant radiation pattern of a naught alone is uh, something e naught into e power j0 psi. Similarly for a1, e power j1 psi. For 2, okay, e power j2 psi. Okay, e power 3, 4, 5 a of n minus 1. Okay, okay. Already I told you how to derive this expression. Simply, resultant field strength is the sum of field strength due to individual point sources. Okay, e naught and e power j0 into psi, j1 psi, 2 psi, 3 psi, up to e power j of at n minus 1 element is e power j of n minus 1 psi. Okay. And here the point is all those point sources are identical. That's why the resultant field strength of all those point sources are also equal as considered as E naught. Okay, that's why here take the formula of E naught, and the expression contains Et equal to E naught to E power J0, 1, 2, 3 until n minus 1 psi. Okay, this is the okay, this expression is considered as a 1, and second expression is, okay, multiply the same expression, right, multiply that same expression 1 with e power j psi on both sides. Okay, see here 18 e power j psi on both sides. Okay, and okay, understand, just this derivation contains 3 main steps. First step is expressing resultant field strength of each antenna element, and second step multiply with e power j psi, and third step, subtract this expression with equation 1, that is the above expression. Then we got the expression as gt equal to e naught and e power j n psi by e power j psi. Okay. Next step is how to express e power j psi, e power j theta. How to express e power j theta? That e power j theta is expressed as cos theta plus j sin theta. Simply replace theta with j psi. Okay, cos psi plus j sin psi. Similarly, for 1 minus e power j n psi, cos n psi plus j sin n psi. Okay. Next, we have to find out that magnitude. Okay. When we find out the magnitude, what we get here? 1 minus cos n psi plus j n psi. Okay. When we find out square root of 1 minus cos n psi plus j sin n psi, in that, and a real term and imaginary terms are separated. Next, find out the expression 1 minus cos n psi whole square plus sin n psi whole square. Okay. Okay. Similarly, denominator term also the same. Then you are able to directly find out that expression. Okay. See here. See here. Finally, what we get just from the simplification. Do you understand how? Okay. How this simplification is made? Simply e power j n psi is replaced with its trigonometric form of cos theta plus j sin theta. Next, separate real and imaginary terms. Next, find out mod. In that mod, we get square root of 1 minus cos n psi whole square plus sin n psi whole square. Okay. Expand that 1 minus cos n psi whole square as a minus b whole square. A square plus b square plus b square minus 2ab. Okay. And simplify. Similarly, 1 minus e power j psi, that is also expanded like this and simplify. Okay. When simplify, we get that expression as et equal to e naught into sin n psi by 2. Okay. See here. Observe this point. Okay. Here this n is included here, but this n is not included here. Okay. Not have to include it here. Okay. Just mention here. Okay. Beside that psi. Okay. Final expression contains et equal to e naught into sin n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2. Okay, that is the expression. And e power j of n minus 1 by 2 into sin. What is the maximum value of e power j theta? What is the maximum value of e power j theta? Is 1. Okay, that's why in most of the textbooks they not mentioned that e power j of n minus 1 by 2 of psi. Okay, and the final resultant field strength of n element uniform linear array gives us the relation as E naught is the magnitude into sin n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2. Remember that point. That is also most frequently asked question competitive examination. Okay, that is the final expression. See here, the magnitude of the resultant field is given by et equal to E naught into sin n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2. Okay, here not mentioned e power j of n minus 1 by 2 into psi. Why? Because okay, the magnitude, the magnitude means the total value. Okay. Okay, the total value of e power j theta is 1. That's why here not mentioned with e power j of n minus 1 by 2 into psi. Okay, so this is the final expression. Okay. So next, the phase angle theta of the resultant field at point B is given by, okay, this is the phasor form. The phase angle theta of the resultant field at point B. Okay, See here, theta equal to e power j theta. Okay, this is the e power j theta. Okay, and a non-magnitude form. E power j of n minus 1 by 2 into psi e power j theta. And what is meant by theta here? Theta equal to n minus 1 by 2 into psi. So n minus 1 by 2 into psi. Okay, n minus 1 by 2 into psi is equivalent to the total phase difference. Okay, this is the total phase. Here n minus 1 by 2 into psi is the total phase here for n element uniform array. Okay, that is equivalent to beta d cos phi. Already we know. Okay, the total phase difference equal to path difference into beta. The wave number. So that's why beta d cos phi plus some alpha. And if there exists any additional phase, okay, that represents. Okay, but in practical, no need to mention this expression. Okay, uh, until this expression is enough. Similarly, if we consider n elements with equal spacing and currents equal in magnitude and phase, okay, ఏం చెప్తున్నారు అర్థమవుతుందా మీకు? Okay, what are the expressions we derived so far? First we have to define array of antenna, and next we have to define two element array for all possible cases. Okay, and what is the final expression obtained for the two element array? Remember that final expressions, et equal to 2 e naught into cos of psi by 2. Okay, where psi equal to beta d cos phi. Okay, okay, that for identical, all identical parameters. So for, if it is non-identical, it becomes j of 2 e naught into sine of psi by 2, where psi is equal to again beta d cos phi by 2. Next, n element uniform linear array. Okay, for that what is the resultant field strength? Et equal to e naught into sine n psi by 2 by sine psi by 2. Okay, that is the expression. Similarly, the same uniform element array concept is applied to broadside array now. Next, end fire array. Okay, okay, will you follow the process? Okay, so array of n elements with equal spacing, okay, and currents equal in magnitude and phase. Currents equal, and all are identical parameters, just like an element uniform array. But for broadside array, what is the key difference between broadside array and end fire array? In broadside array, the maximum radiation occurs perpendicular to axis of array. Okay, axis of array is quite different from, okay, the antenna element axis. Similarly, for end fire array, maximum radiation occurs along the axis of array. Okay, see here, array of n elements with equal spacing and current equal in magnitude and phase, broadside array. See here, the same expressions. Okay, there is no change, but the difference is here the maximum radiation occur perpendicular to the axis of array. Okay, so here consider n number of identical radiators carry the currents which is equal in magnitude and equal in phase. And just as the assumption, in practical that is not possible, which is having some minor losses. The identical radiators are equispaced in the sense equally spaced with a distance of small d. Okay, hence the maximum radiation. See here, hence the maximum radiation in the direction of normal. Normal means perpendicular to the line of array. Okay, hence such of array is known as uniform broadside array. Understand? Broadside array, if the radiation occurs which is perpendicular to axis of array, then it is said to be broadside array. Here we consider n elements, all the n elements are equally spaced and equally excited. Okay, that is the point here. See here, consider broadside array with n identical radiators as shown in figure. But this broadside array and end-fire array is not, so far he is not asked in final examination. Directly and frequently they asked derivation for n element uniform linear array. Okay, just for the information, just listen. Okay, it is very easy. See here. Okay, no need of these derivations again. Okay, please go through this n element uniform linear array. Okay, please go through that n element uniform linear array. Okay, when the situation comes, okay, I will explain it clearly again. Okay, otherwise it is you feel it is somewhat complex. Okay, but they are very convenient for the derivation. See here, did you observe the difference here? Okay, all the electric field strength from the different antenna elements are expressed here as ideal sine theta by 4 pi epsilon naught into j of beta square by r2. Okay, what is meant by r1, r2, r3, rn here? Okay, here we consider n point sources. Okay, they are equally spaced with a small distance d and observation point p. Okay, ante ela I am observing the resultant radiation field strength of that n element uniform array, okay, within some inclination angle and from one corner. Okay, here r1, r2, r3 up to so on rn are the distance from each point source to my eye at a point of observation. Okay, from suppose point source a naught is there, a naught to point source p, the line joining between these two ends is r naught. Okay, point source a1 to point p is r1. Similarly r2. Okay, a2 to point p. Okay, but here the assumption is, okay, all those lines are parallel. Okay, all those lines are parallel. Already I told you. Okay, but in practical the line joining at point p is they not touch each other. Okay, they are simply parallel lines. Okay, just like when we see the line of sight of the railway track. Okay, how it look like at the end, the two tracks, okay, the two rails. Okay, rails means tracks. Okay, uh, the two rails RAILS. Okay, the two rails touch each other. Okay, just they look like, but in practical is it the those two rails are tracks, the two tracks touch each other in practical? No, but it look like. Okay, the same concept here also. Okay, from the point of observation p, these lines are seems to be, okay, touch each other, but in practical they are not touched. They are always separated with the distance of d cos phi. Okay, d cos phi, d1 cos phi, d2 cos phi. Okay, for each point sources. You can see here a0, a1, a2, a3 up to so on a of n minus 1, and distances are like r0, r1, r2, r3 up to so on r of n minus 1. See here, p at a distant point, that the distant point p is very far away from that point sources. Okay, but our convenience and for our analysis purpose, they mention look like this. Okay, and the separation is always d cos phi. Okay, at the distance p, the total phase difference due to the path difference is given as again beta d cos phi. Okay, that is the field strength here. Okay, this is the field strength E naught u2 point source A naught is given as ideal sin theta by 4 pi epsilon naught. Did you observe this expression, ideal sin theta by 4 pi epsilon naught? Where we get that expression? In electromagnetic field theory, ideal sin theta by 4 pi epsilon naught. Ideal sin theta by 4 pi epsilon naught. ఎక్కడ వచ్చింది మనకి? What is the Biot-Savart's law? magnetic field strength due to point sources at infinite point. What is the resultant field strength at point P? Okay, and when current I is passing through this some differential current element dl, okay, from the point of observation it makes an angle theta, that is the sine theta here. Okay, when we consider the same in free space, okay, okay, the excited current element frequency, angular frequency is 2 phi f, that is replaced with omega, okay, and free space permittivity, okay, that is the complete Biot-Savart's law. E naught equal to ideal sin theta by 4 phi epsilon naught into its phase value, j of beta square by r naught into e power minus j beta r, or simply minus j theta, where theta is nothing but beta into r naught, for first point source a naught. For suppose second point source a1, it becomes e power minus j beta r1. Similarly for second one r2, third one r3, up to so on n minus 1 or of n minus 1. That's all. Replace that expression. That's all. See here, this is not a complex derivation here. Later we have to summarize all those field strengths. See here, heat equal to E naught plus, okay, and here see here, the total electric field at point source P becomes Et equal to E naught plus E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus so on En minus 1. Okay, they represent different field strengths at different point sources. Okay, but if it is ideal, okay, if it is ideal, and here ideal is the hypothetical always, but for our analysis purpose we must consider all those point sources are excited with equal phase and they provide equal field strength. That's why the total field strength Et equal to E naught into e power j0 psi. Already I told you. Okay, e power j0 psi is nothing but a 1. That's why it is replaced with 1. It equal to E naught plus E naught into e power j beta d cos phi plus e power j 2 beta e power j of n minus 1 beta d cos phi. Okay. Uh, so already you know what is meant by beta d cos phi. Beta d cos phi is nothing but a total phase difference due to the path difference. That's why the beta d cos phi is replaced with psi here again. So et equal to e naught plus e power j psi e power j2 psi. Okay, actually that previous step is not required here. This step is not required here. Okay, consider the series of s. Okay, that is the distances 1 plus r square plus r cube plus epsilon r of m minus 1. Okay, here r equal to e power j psi. Okay, multiplying the above equation to both sides by r. Okay, in the previous expression we consider the above we multiplied LHS and RHS by e power j psi. Okay, here j psi is treated as an r. That is the difference. Okay. Then if we do the same, then no problem. Okay, we get the same expression here. Okay. So here et equal to e naught into 1 minus e power j n psi by e power j psi. Okay, the same expression we got from the 10 element uniform array. Okay, it's not mentioned in either broadside or end side. Yeah. Okay, that is the same expression we got again. So et equal to e naught into sin n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2, but e power j of n minus 1 into psi by 2 is the phasor. What is the maximum value of the phase value? E power j theta again 1. Again the same expression et equal to e naught into here et by e naught. What is meant by that et? Actually et equal to e naught into, but here the same expression is divided with e naught on both sides. That's why et by e naught equal to e naught by e naught. E naught by e naught can cancel together. E power j of n minus 1 psi by 2 into sin of n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2. Okay, again that is the same expression we got earlier. Okay, here et by e naught is there, that is called an array factor again. Okay, that et by e naught is treated as array factor. Why? Because that magnitude value, the highest magnitude value is divided with its magnitude again. That's the normalization. Okay, that's why that is considered as an array factor. Okay, et by e naught equal to sin n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2. Okay, remember that point. What is the properties of broadside array? What is the property? Okay, major lobe. Okay, what we observed from the definition of broadside array, according to the definition of broadside array, the maximum radiation occur perpendicular to the axis of array. And a maximum radiation and a major lobe is always perpendicular to main axis. Okay, that is the point here, and we have to prove the same also. There is a major lobe here. See here, in case of broadside array, the field is maximum in the direction of normal to the axis of array. There is a condition for the maximum field at a point B is given by psi equal to 0, and there is no phase difference. Okay, why? Because all these sources are excited equally. Okay, that's why beta d cos phi equal to 0. What is meant by beta d cos phi equal to 0? From that cos phi equal to 0, okay, where we get 0 value. Okay, when phi equal to 90 degrees we get 0 value, or 270 degrees also we get 0 value. Okay, from that, okay, broadside array is justified. Phi equal to 90 degrees, phi equal to 90 degrees or phi equal to 270 degrees are called directions of principal maximas. అంతే కదా, అంటే where the phase error phase value is 0, there occurs a maximum radiation. That is the point here. Similarly, magnitude of the that is the major lobe, and okay, what is its magnitude? Its magnitude. Okay, what is the maximum magnitude here? Sin and psi by 2 by sin psi by 2 is there. Okay, so differentiate with respect to psi, with respect to total phase difference. D of d psi by d of d psi, both for numerator and denominator. Okay, so that's maximum value is always n. Ante what we observe from that expression. Okay, this is very very important exam point of view. I mean competitive exam point of view. This is very very important. Okay, okay. Finally, what we get? What is the maximum magnitude of that n element uniform array? If we use n elements, and how many number of elements we used in that array, that number n gives its maximum magnitude. Okay, so the major lobe maximum magnitude is n. Okay, where n is the number of antenna elements. Okay, so from the equation it is clear that all the field components added up together, that's all. Okay, all the antenna elements, when I am considering 20 antenna elements, just I am added up all these field components, that's all. Okay, E0, E1, E2, E3, I am summarize, yes, okay, summarize all those field components, that's all. Similarly, nulls. Okay, what is meant by nulls here? Okay, where the field component becomes 0. Okay, the point where the field component becomes 0 is stated as a null. Okay, see here, et by e0 equals sin n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2, that is equated to its null values. Okay, ఎలా చేస్తారు? By making the above equation to 0. అంటే ఏమవుతుంది? sin n psi by 2 by sin psi by 2 equal to 0, then sin n psi by 2 equal to 0. Okay, at which value we get its minimas? By simply making the sin n psi by 2 equal to 0. Okay, then that n psi by 2 equal to ఎక్కడ అవుతుంది జనరల్ గా sin, what are the minimum values of that sin? Plus or minus m5, where m equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, అంతే కదా. sin 180 ఎంత? 0. sin 0 0. sin 3 then sin అంతే కదా, 0, 45, 90, 270 and 360. Okay, where we get minimas. Psi equal to beta d cos phi, therefore same that expression n by 2, that psi is replaced with what is the psi? Beta d cos phi kada. So beta is nothing but 2 pi by lambda. Already you know that is the wave number. Okay, that 2 pi by lambda is the wave number, that is beta d cos phi at minimum kada. So equate to plus or minus m5. From that, okay, we'll find that phi minimum value. ఎంత అవుతుంది? Okay, just simply with that expression. Okay, cos phi minimum. So phi minimum equal to cos inverse of. Okay, just we have to simplify this here. 2 to cancel, nd by lambda. Okay, nd by lambda and phi cancel. Okay, from that phi minimum equal to cos inverse of plus or minus m lambda by nd. Okay, where n is the, okay, here not mentioned with capital N, it is small n. Okay, mistakenly represented capital N, where small n is the number of elements in array and d is the spacing between the elements. Okay, the spacing is always measured in meters. Okay, why? Because in practical they are okay, very large in size. Similarly, subsidiary maximas. Okay, subsidiary maximums or side lobes. Okay, what is meant by side lobe and minor lobe? What is the difference between side lobe and minor lobe? What is the difference between major lobe and minor lobe? Difference is same. Okay, if that lobe contains significant amplitude, maximum amplitude, that is called major lobe. If it contains significant amplitude but is less than the major lobe, then it is called side lobes. Okay, if it is insignificant amplitude, that is called minor lobe. Okay, and it is very insignificant and backside, that is called back lobe. Okay, similarly here they are significant subsidiary maximas in the sense side lobes which is having amplitude is okay, amplitude value which is lies in between plus or minus 1. Okay, simply that expression sin n psi by 2 is sin n psi by 2. Okay, here that sin n psi by 2 is equal to plus or minus 1, then find the value of 5 minima subsidiary minimas and maximas, like see here, and we simplify the above expression like cos inverse of lambda of 2m plus 1 by 2nd, that is the reference. Okay, similarly beam width of major lobe. What is the beam width? What is the beam width here? Okay, how do you measure that beam width? Okay, can I take the difference between maxima and minima? Okay, half null beam width. Okay, or half pound beam width I get. Okay, this is called full null beam width, BWFN, or FNBW, both are same. Okay, so okay, no need all these derivations because time consuming it is. Okay, this is also not required. See here, and next derivation is array of n elements with equal spacing and current equal spacing and currents equal in magnitude, but with uh, unidentical pace. Okay, just like an two element array combinations 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1, like. Okay, and here we have to show that phase difference. Okay, please go through this derivation. This is also simple, and here the difference is again, instead of that cos n psi by 2, it may get some phase shift. Okay, please go through this. See here, pattern multiplication method. What is meant by pattern multiplication? Pattern multiplication method. What is meant by radiational characteristics? Radiational characteristics is defined as a simply the maximum radiation, okay, or electromagnetic radiation from the antenna. Okay, and in which direction it is having uh, high radiation, and in which direction it is having very low radiation. Okay, and if the same is represented within pictorial form, then it is said to be radiation pattern. Okay, and radiation pattern is always a graphical method. Here pattern is always a graphical method. Here pattern multiplication. Okay, why do we go for the concept of pattern multiplication? Pattern multiplication, Okay, in general, to obtain the radiational characteristics of a particular antenna, okay, involves a complex mathematical modelings. Okay, you have to perform multiple mathematical operations to obtain that radiational characteristics. Okay, that is somewhat difficult and time consuming. That's why, okay, here already you know what is the radiational characteristics of individual antenna element. Individual antenna element. Okay, how to draw the radiational characteristics of single antenna element. Already you know. Okay, if such antenna elements are grouped together as an array, okay, grouped together as an array, then what is the resultant radiation pattern of that array? Okay, how do we predict the radiational characteristics of that antenna is look like this? Is it possible? No. Okay, that's why the concept of pattern multiplication is developed, okay, to obtain the resultant radiational characteristics of the array antenna. Okay, it is somewhat easy compared to that mathematical model. Okay, this pattern multiplication method is completely pictorial representation. Okay, and I just okay, here the basic principle behind the pattern multiplication is, okay, the resultant radiational pattern or radiational characteristics of array is obtained by multiplying the radiational characteristics of single antenna with that group. Understand? And when I am combining six or seven antenna elements, okay, all those antenna elements are spaced somewhat spaced equally or unequally. Okay, having radiational characteristics may be equally or unequally, but when we combine all those antennas having a some length and a axis of array length. Okay, already you know the radiational characteristics of single and a finite length antenna. Okay, the radiational characteristics of that finite length antenna is multiplied with, okay, the total length of that antenna. Okay, that is called a group. Okay, then we get the resultant radiation pattern. Okay, and when we see one or two problems here, then it is very easy to deal with. See here, pattern multiplication method. Okay, now understand why do you go for the concept of pattern multiplication method? Okay, in general, the radiational characteristics from the antennas plotting is difficult through mathematical model. Okay, but a graphical method it is very easy. That's why the pattern multiplication method is developed to obtain the resultant radiational characteristics of array antennas. Okay, not for single antenna, array antennas. Okay, and a single antenna it is not possible with pattern multiplication method. Directly you have to find out with mathematical modeling or in laboratory. Okay, in laboratory it is very easy to obtain. Okay, with spinning method, okay, or rotating method. Here the pattern multiplication method is directly obtain radiational characteristics and unknown radiational characteristics of the group antenna with the known characteristics of the single antenna. See here, this is very simple method of obtaining the patterns of the array. Okay, this method is known as pattern multiplication method. This method is very useful in design of arrays because it makes possible to draw the patterns of complicated arrays. Understand? Almost by just inspection. Okay, to illustrate this method, consider 4-element array. Okay, and if the array which contains the 4 elements, all those 4 elements are equally spaced, and this is a very important question in the final examination also. Okay, 4 element and 8 element. Okay, both are very important. See here, we consider the 4 antenna elements, and the 4 antenna elements are equally spaced. That 4 antenna elements are equally spaced. Okay, that equal spacing is the lambda by 2. Okay, and element to element spacing here is lambda by 2. Also assume all the elements are supplied with equal magnitude of current. Okay, and here all the antenna elements are excited equally. See here. Okay, this is very interesting method, and I have a videos also for that pattern multiplication. When we go through that videos, it is very convenient to understand. Okay, and it is very easy to draw. See here, at the point P at which the resultant field strength has to be obtained as far away. We can assume that radiation from the antenna is from parallel lines. See here, the radiation pattern is the structure which is very convenient to observe from a longer distances. Okay, from longer distances, how that radiation. Okay, why? Because the radiation always occupies hundreds of meters. That's why within the field we are unable to observe the radiation pattern. Okay, but it is far away, and this is only for assumption. Okay, why? Because it is completely hypothetical. Okay, it is everywhere. Just we are assuming. Okay. Okay, in the scaling point of view, it is very convenient to observe. See here, the radiation pattern of antennas 1 and 2 are treated as an operating a single unit as shown in figure 1a. See here, okay, no need to discuss with this theory. See here directly. See here, what is the radiation, where we observe this radiation pattern? Okay, for broadside array. Here directly mentioned. Okay, see here. See here, for two elements. So it is already 1058. Yeah? Okay. So see here, these are the four elements: element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4. All these antenna elements are spaced equally as lambda by 2, lambda by 2, lambda by 2. Okay. See here, the distance between these two antenna elements, its mean value is the 2D. And here, the radiation characteristics of this 2D is already and the radiation characteristics of lambda by 2 length is already okay, just you have to multiply the radiation characteristics of this half-wave dipole with this uh, dipole length of 2D. Okay, just you have to multiply these two, then we get the radiation characteristics. See here, this is the radiation characteristics of half-wave dipole. This is the radiation characteristics of 2D. Okay, the 2 into lambda by 2 and lambda. When we multiply these two, okay, how many lobes it contains? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, see here, the resultant field strength contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's very easy. Just summation of the resultant radiation fields of that two. Okay, it is very convenient to verify in the final competitive exams also. Okay, okay, and the resultant radiation patterns and or robes of the final expression or final radiation characteristics contains the sum of the radiation characteristics of these two. Okay, so we discuss very clearly and do some problems on the pattern multiplication in the next class. Okay, so that's all for today's class. Um, thank you everybody.